gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are watching or listening to the most electrifying podcast in all of internet radio today. You are listening or watching The Sports Wire. My name is Vinny Apicella, and I am here with you today. I've got a big show for you today, a big show planned because of the simple fact that there's a lot of wrestling on this week, and I watched all of it. A little later than normal, but I did watch all of it. I watched the Hulu version of Monday Night Raw, so it did cut out some stuff, which I probably should, go back and see what I missed on YouTube or in a month when it goes to the WWE Network. Or even still, I'll probably end up watching Monday Night Raw tonight as much as I can until I have to go to work. But the fact is that we've got a big show for you today. The other thing, not only is there a lot of wrestling, I also have an interview later on in the show. And the interview is with the ladies of the Firefly Flow Troupe, fire and LED performers out of Massachusetts. No, not the Firefly Funhouse, but the Firefly Flow Troupe. Because of the simple fact that I'm trying to get people out there. I hope you enjoyed my episode last week with Jessica Jean, the wrestling lady on Twitter. That was all audio. She only wanted to do an audio interview. She didn't have the capability for video, but this is a video interview. So the audience on YouTube will get to see the audio, we'll get to see the full video, the full interview. The audio will get just obviously the audio. Unfortunately, as you saw at the top of the program, we do have some sad news to report. Kamala, also known as James Harris, that's his real name, started out in the business, Sugar Bear Harris, in Memphis, passed away this weekend. He was 70 years old, died from complications of not only diabetes, but he did contract the COVID-19 virus on last Wednesday. Did COVID add to the fatality? But he was told that he only had, a couple days to live. So I have a feeling it was just a combination. I don't feel that he died specifically from COVID, but it was an added factor. But either way, prayers and thoughts and love go out to his family and friends. There is a GoFundMe out there to help his wife, Emma, help with the funeral and final costs for Kamala. I did retweet that on my personal page at the Apicella SWE because of the simple fact that I want to see them help. I want to thank you all for watching and listening. This is a great opportunity. The audiences, the views and the listens are actually going up. I really like that. We don't have any ads yet through YouTube because, well, you need 1,000 subscribers to get monetized. I'm only at 25. So please share and share alike. Come and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notifications button so that you can get everything new up from the Sports Wire. We have added all of our archived footage, episodes starting from October of last year when we started with Anchor.fm. We're waiting for sponsors there too. So if you're a company and you want to sponsor the Sports Wire, definitely let me know. Email me, sportswireaudio@gmail.com. Again, I want to thank you all for listening and watching. We're just going to go right down the line because the simple fact, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Monday Night Raw, the flagship, the longest running weekly episodic television show in history, and it took a turn this week. It took a change. Raw was good. There's so many haters out there. There's so many people that really dislike what the WWE is doing, and they're just WWE haters. We know Meltzer, we know Alvarez, we know that the dirt sheet writers don't like Monday Night Raw, they don't like the WWE, and they're biased against them. We know that. However, there's so many people on Twitter that just, I don't know what it is, but the overwhelming hatred that WWE gets is astounding. And it's sad. It really is. It is sad that there's so much hatred for WWE right now. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And I know people are going to say, well, we deserve better. We're the fans. You're right. We deserve better. But you know what? It is what it is. And watch it as a fan instead of a critic. First of all, Dave Meltzer has set the bar extremely low for critics, for, people to judge what good wrestling is. If it doesn't happen in the Tokyo Dome, if it doesn't happen in Japan, if it doesn't happen on AEW, if it doesn't happen with the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega, then it's not going to get a good rating. So just disregard it. And anyways, you know what? Be better. Okay, stop with the hatred. Anyways, Monday Night Raw was great. They introduced Shane McMahon, came back and introduced Raw Underground, a MMA-inspired, Fight Club-inspired type deal for the third hour of Raw, trying to boost ratings a bit. I dig it. I liked it. I like the concept. It's different. Now, I know Jim Cornette made mention of, well, if you're going to put this quote-unquote real fighting on WWE, you're kind of killing the sports entertainment, the real matches that are on Raw that precedes it, and why would you go ahead and do that? And I understand that, it's like saying, oh, well, this stuff's real, but we know that sports entertainment, we know that wrestling is fixed. It's not, I wouldn't say fake, but it's definitely predetermined. We've known that for eons. This is a new concept, almost reintroducing kayfabe. Is it legitimate? Is it, is it like, we're incorporating guys like Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and MVP, the Hurt Business, into that concept. I've heard rumors that on tonight's Raw, Shayna Baszler might be introduced into Raw Underground as well, which will kind of give a good women's aspect to it. Then people were complaining about the strippers and the dancing girls that were there. Give me a break, okay? I know Alundra Blaze, aka Medusa, put out a tweet saying, what are we going backwards by having these girls in skimpy clothes, dancing sexy and everything like that. First of all, they're not female wrestlers. You know what I mean? They're not, it's not like they have Charlotte or Sasha Banks up there dancing and stripping and everything. These are actual dancers hired to dance. It's not like they went out to a strip club and said, oh, well, you look hot, you have big boobs, and you're going to come in and train to be a wrestler. Like it was in the, late 90s, early 2000s. It's not like that anymore. Now they actually went out and found dancers, probably at a local strip club that are unemployed because of COVID, to come in and actually do it. So, there's not difference. And the other and she's like, well, what about men in Speedos and stuff dancing and stuff? First of all, here's the problem with that. Here's the argument against that. First of all wrestling is guys in Speedos or guys that are, scantily clad, so to speak. Gone are the days where everybody's in like the tidy whities like Tito Santana or Hulk Hogan or Rick Martel. But, for the most part, a lot of guys still do wear them. But a lot of guys do wear trunks and stuff, but most of them are have their shirts off anyway, so right there. The other thing is, you don't see the NFL or the NBA having male cheerleaders on their teams for equality. So what's the gripe there? Anyways, I dug it, and I really liked having Bobby Lashley come in there. I would love to see, for the next three to 4 or 5 weeks, have Bobby Lashley just dominate Raw Underground. He's a legitimate fighter. He is an undefeated MMA fighter. Okay, he's a legitimate athlete. They're all legitimate athletes. He's a legitimate wrestler from the military, and he can really dominate in a real fight situation. So with that said, I would love to see him dominate, for the next few weeks, and all of a sudden, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar come in, and then we can get Lashley and Lesnar in a Raw Underground fight at, say, it's going to be past SummerSlam, maybe Payback, or, whatever else is going to be Hell in a Cell, which would give new meaning to Hell in a Cell if it's a Raw Underground style match. Think about it that way. But I dug it. I really enjoyed Monday Night Raw, and going forward, I like what they're doing. And you know what? I'm watching it as a fan, okay? And I've been called a WWE apologist and all this. That's not true. I am not a WWE apologist because I don't, I enjoy the WWE, but I don't make excuses for them. I really like what they do. I'm really liking what they're doing. Okay, so we're going to move now from Monday Night Raw. We're going to go now to the next night, Tuesday, in Impact. Yes, I've been watching Impact Wrestling. I got into it. After Slammiversary, and I saw Gallows and Anderson went over there. I saw EC3 and Eric Young returned. I saw Heath get picked up. So I'm like, let me give it a chance. I haven't watched Impact in a long time. I tried watching it, back when they first got their major TV deal. I tried watching it. It was all right. I mean, I watched it for Nash and Hall, and, I liked how Toby Keith was involved. Then that's where I first saw AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, and I liked when Kurt Angle went over there. But then, when Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan went in, I watched, for a little while. I watched the first couple episodes of the new Monday Night War, and it was all right, but I kind of grew out of it, when it was TNA, obviously. But this new regime of Impact with Scott D'Amore and Don Callis and Tommy Dreamer has been doing pretty well. I like Jordan Grace. I like Deonna Purrazzo being the new Knockouts champion, although they should really change it to... Although Knockouts does have a fighting correlation to it, regardless of whether it's meant for a very sexy woman. You know what I mean? But regardless, I am liking Impact. I don't like the whole Wrestler's House. I don't like the... obviously I do have some critiques of what I enjoy in terms of wrestling, what I don't like in terms of wrestling. I do like the concept of having Eddie Edwards, the Impact champion. I like having him do the open challenge every week. It's awesome. But why is it in the middle of the card? Why is it at the, okay, you're going to schedule something for the top of the hour so people don't change, but it's your world champion. It should be the main event. This past week you did have Rich Swann announce his retirement, but then get attacked by Eric Young. So I can understand why you put that on last. You want that emotional. You want that cliffhanger of what's going to happen next week with Eric Young, who's going to stand up for Rich Swann. Moose fought Heath, excuse me, and if Heath won, he would get a contract at Impact. Moose is the self-proclaimed TNA World Champion. I kind of like the story they're going with. He kind of brought it back from extinction, and now they technically have two world champions. TNA and Impact. Now TNA is kind of equivalent to the FTW title that's now in Impact in AEW, or the $1 Million Championship that was back in the WWE. Ted DiBiase's belt. But I like where they're going because eventually that story can build. Well, we've got two world champions now. Moose is going to say he's the rightful champion, and Eddie Edwards is the rightful champion, or whoever it may be down the line. Then we could actually have a unification match, and Moose can really back up the fact, oh, I may be the uncrowned champion, but now I'm going to beat you and be the crowned champion. So I like where that's going. And you know what? It may have started earlier, and the reason why Moose took the TNA Championship maybe because he felt slighted from the Impact title picture or whatever. I don't know. I haven't followed it. I'm new. I'm just coming in blindly. So this is what I'm seeing as a new Impact fan, a new Impact Wrestling fan. I DVR it every Tuesday, and I usually watch it by Thursday or Friday, except for this week. I'll get to that in a little bit. But I like what they're doing. I don't like the Wrestle House. I don't like the intergender stuff. I know, talking with Jessica Jean yesterday, she, last week, she did say, she's for it. She said we're all trained wrestlers, and it doesn't have the connotation because we're of domestic abuse, because we're all accepting of it, and they know that they're fighting, and it's consensual, so to speak. But I still don't like it. I can't suspend disbelief enough. Like, unless I know your background. I think that's what the biggest thing is. Okay? And there are certain things that go into it when it comes to intergender wrestling. So I'm going to go off on this tangent. Impact, like I said, I like it. I don't like the intergender stuff so much. But see, here's where it comes in. Here's where I like it, okay? It has to have the believability. like a girl like Kylie Ray, okay? She's been so supportive of intergender wrestling, okay? And she did some of it on this show during the Wrestle House segments, which I'm not a huge fan of, but because it's corny. But I guess they got to fill some time, so it's not all wrestling. And Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary in it kind of bring the viewers with their sex appeal. Even Kylie Ray is quite cute. And Tommy Dreamer is hilarious as the, so to speak, ringleader of it. So I guess I'm too bored to say I like it rather than dislike it. But it's, whatever. Intergender wrestling, okay? It has to have some believability behind it. And this is probably because I'm an old school wrestling fan, so I like the believability aspect of wrestling. Like, can it really happen? Chyna, she was a bodybuilder. She had that physique where, yeah, she could beat your ass if you're a guy. Absolutely. Karma, or Awesome Kong. Sure. She's a bigger gal. She's a bigger girl. She would squash these model-looking girls that were around back then. Okay, I get that. Beth Phoenix being in the Men's Rumble, she didn't have that legitimate wrestling background. So I really, but the way they built her, I guess, was, sure, she was a glamazon. She was a bigger, but she wasn't that believable. Nyla Rose, calling out the elephant in the room, she's transgender. She was born a man. So to see her fighting men, okay, I get that. That's believable because she still has that muscle structure and that bone structure of a male. So to see her in an intergender match, I get it. Nia Jax, Samoan, from the fighting Samoan families. Not to mention she's injured a lot of people, Yeah, I could understand. I could get behind that. Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, backgrounds in martial arts and MMA. Absolutely. Ronda Rousey, same thing. So there needs to be that kind of background. But when it comes to like Charlotte Flair, she wasn't a wrestler. She was a volleyball player. Yeah, she grew up in the business. Ric Flair's her father. Wrestling in her blood, she's fantastic. But no, I can't see her fighting a guy like, again, a lot of the guys are so small nowadays. But like a King Corbin, I can't see Charlotte versus King Corbin. To me, that wouldn't work. Sasha Banks versus King Corbin, or Sasha Banks versus Drew McIntyre. Wouldn't work. Not for me, brother. So it has to have that sense of believability behind it. And the other thing is, like, if you're going to put that on national television, how many women are watching that have been abused? And I get that everything is consensual and everything is agreed upon here, but you still have that triggering PTSD stuff. And, while wrestling has tried to go the way, to warn about epileptic seizures and everything, they have to also warn that, we're going to have intergender matches in this. So that if you have, some trauma from past experiences, you may not want to watch, or maybe, we're letting you know ahead of time. So there needs to be that, in my opinion. But again, I'm a fan. I'm an old school wrestling fan. So that's what it is. All right, Wednesday Night Wars. AEW, let's go with them first, seeing as they got 900,000 viewers this week. Biggest news, okay? That debate between Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Awesome. It did more to put Orange Cassidy over than anything he did since Double or Nothing last year. It showed more of his character. He talked. It showed that he had brains, especially with the one about the rising ocean tides. It made a fan out of me. I am now a fan of Orange Cassidy because of that. I couldn't get behind the guy that just came in the ring and put his hands in his pockets and then lightly tapped you with his kicks and whatever. Because that's garbage. That's just pure garbage. But now that he's got a personality and you could kind of see the personality, that's what gets people over. They should have did that last year. Because there wouldn't be so much hate for Orange Cassidy. Okay, but I mean, people dig it. Oh, he's over. You know, he gets the ratings. Then people are stupid. But whatever. You like what you like. I like what I like. I didn't like Orange Cassidy until this week. Cody and Matt Cardona taking on two members of the Dark Order. That Dark Order thing has to go. I mean, it really does. It's got, there's, 10 people in there. Some of the guys are just named 5, 9, 10, the number. They're jobbers. We get it. But Brody Lee is, there's so much wrong with the Dark Order gimmick. Okay? There's so much wrong with it. It's almost like a rib on the wrestling industry, where you put all these guys together who we know are jobbers, and you could put masks on them because they're interchangeable and you really don't need to see who they are. Okay? And I get that. Brody Lee, though, is not somebody that I could see as a legitimate leader. And the reason why? Dude, shave the freaking beard. I mean, you can't see the facial. You can see the eyes, of course. But it's a different character. You're not Luke Harper anymore. You're not from the backwoods. Okay, you're not even a trucker like the Brody Lee character was originally. Now you're the exalted one, the chosen one, the leader of this group, of this faction of 10 guys that's growing bigger like the NWO. So they better watch it. Anna Jay somehow joined and nobody knew how or why. So shave your beard, kind of get a new makeover. You want to be this Mr. Brody Lee, kind of, rip off of Mr. McMahon? Don't sneeze in front of me, pal. That's such good shit, pal. Shave that beard off. Get your hair styled in a regular way. You want long hair, fine. Wear the ponytail, whatever. Not a freaking man bun. But shave your freaking face. Shave that beard off. Shave, so that we can see the facial features. I think that's what the biggest issue is with Brody Lee. And his voice is too high pitched for for the gimmick he's trying to portray. Like, he's got to get some bass in his voice and talk deep and get that, from the diaphragm and say, you know what? Come join the Dark Order. You know what I mean? There's so much wrong with that gimmick. I did like how Matt Cardona won the match, and he looked great. He looked jacked. Absolutely, he looked jacked to the nines. So I like where they're going with that. Cody took a week off the Open Challenge, except next week he's now being challenged by Scorpio Sky. Here's a newsflash. I want to see Scorpio Sky beat Cody for the TNT title next week. That's what I do. I like Scorpio Sky. I'm really high on him. He should win. Also on AEW, it started out with a 12-man tag. It was the Young Bucks, Omega and Page, and FTR, Dax and Cash, against 6 other members of the Dark Order. So 8 members of the Dark Order were fighting on this card. And 2 of them, so there's 10 members now. But this is Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, number 5, and number 9. Or number 5 and number 10. And number 9 and Anna Jay were up watching while John Silver and his tag team partner, Winters, maybe. But they were the ones that fought Cody and Cardona later in the match. But, and then Dax gets hurt. I like the story they're going with, having Adam Page be closer to FTR than the Young Bucks. I really like that, because it's setting up that tension between Omega and Page. And, we'll see them lose the tag titles pretty soon. We'll see the breakup of their tag team, and that feud is going to be fantastic. And it got me to thinking, Adam Page has been, compared to a young Barry Windham. What if they were to create a new 4 Horsemen faction? Okay, because we've been hearing how they want to do that with Cody in the, as the leader. You can't have Cody Rhodes as the leader of the Horsemen. What should happen? Here's my thought process is, okay? MJF, okay, after his feud with Wardlow, when they break up, like Shawn and Diesel did, and he needs to surround himself with some great talent, okay, because Wardlow's going to kick the crap out of him because he's such a bigger guy, okay, so he goes out and he gets the best you can. Adam Page, just coming off a heel turn and a breakup from Kenny Omega, all right, joins him and says, you know what, I was with the Elite for so long, now I'm fighting against them. And FTR, they're like Tully and Arn were, okay? And then they say, and we've got a surprise for you coming up at whatever the next pay-per-view would be, okay? So we're challenging the Elite. We're challenging Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Cody. And Cody has to be there. Because here's what's going to put it all together. Arn Anderson, the enforcer, the coach of the Nightmare Family, turns on Cody and goes with this new Four Horsemen faction. And you have Arn Anderson play the J.J. Dillon role, similar to what he played at the end of WCW in the Horsemen, when he was kind of the manager, when it was Flair, Benoit, McMichael, and Malenko. So that. So you have MJF, Hangman Page, and FTR as the new Four Horsemen style faction. You can't call them the Horsemen because WWE owns the trademark, but and aren't there. You could even do Tully, but I like having Tully with Shawn Spears, although they haven't been doing much lately. Maybe on Dark, but I don't watch Dark. So that's what that is. I talked about the debate. I talked about the main event. Then you had Moxley and Darby Allin. Moxley defending the world title against Darby Allin in the main event. So, again, Darby Allin, he kind of reminds me of a young Sean Waltman. 1, 2, 3 kid. Kind of mixed with Jeff Hardy, perhaps. But he's going to do something. He's definitely going to be something in this business. I don't like the whole, putting your body on the line. Jeff Hardy did it for years, though. So it'll get over. And I really do like Darby Allin. So I don't think he's a world champion material yet, but he'll get there. He'll get there. And if you notice, they don't call it a heavyweight championship anymore because nobody's a heavyweight. Brock Lesnar is your only heavyweight. Maybe Luchasaurus, maybe Wardlow, definitely Brian Cage are the definite heavyweights. By the way, speaking of Brian Cage, how awesome has it been having Taz on commentary with JR and Tony Schiavone? AEW for the past 2 weeks without Excalibur has been so much more watchable because you don't have Excalibur, with that indie feel of it and yelling, and he's supposed to be the color guy, not play-by-play. And if I don't hear another Tope Suicida again, it'll be too soon. But I really, I like Taz on commentary. Matt Hardy called out Sammy Guevara. Sammy came out from the ring, under the ring, and then, really put a beating down on Matt Hardy. Threw a plastic chair at him and cut himself. Matt Hardy needed 18 stitches. That was a botch. And then put him through a table. Okay, whatever. Then you had Santana and Ortiz. They got beat by the Best Friends at the beginning of the night, or the second match of the night. And then they went out and destroyed Trent's mother's minivan. I don't get it. I don't understand. But it is what it is. And then, Trent and Chuck Taylor were so pissed off. You're going to apologize to my mother on speakerphone. Really? I'm sorry. I'm laughing about it. All right, let's move on from AEW. Let's get on to NXT, okay? Because I'm already a half hour in. I still got at least a half hour of an interview to go. But NXT, in my opinion, was great. I like how they're building up the feud between Karrion Kross and Keith Lee. I liked Keith Lee coming out last week with that great interview. You know, it kind of showed the dark side of Keith Lee, that pissed off giant. That's what we need, not the... and it's like, I love how Cornette calls him, Professor Keith Lee, because that's how he talks. I get it, he's educated, he's smart, he's intelligent, but your gimmick, your character, it doesn't match. It's like in Avengers Endgame, okay, when you see the Hulk, where he, the Hulk and Bruce Banner was able to integrate the Hulk with Bruce Banner. The Hulk lost something because you have this big green guy, the Hulk, talking like an astrophysicist or whatever kind of scientist he was. You know what I mean? So, you see the Hulk doing the time travel stuff and everything, but it doesn't fit right. I mean, I get it for that storyline because they are, one and the same, and it's like a Jekyll and Hyde. I get that. But in terms of Keith Lee, the promos don't match the guy. So, I like Keith Lee. I really like how he physically is and how great he is. But he's got to get into that zone, that pissed off, giant, angry guy zone. Because that's who he is. Rhea Ripley facing off with Dakota Kai at the very beginning. Great match. I love them both. Robert Stone's crew is growing with Mercedes Martinez, although she's not necessarily managed, she's just a muscle for Robert Stone. I like where that's going. Just fantastic. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. McAfee, being a celebrity, obviously he's been involved with the WWE for quite a while as more of a promo guy and interviewer, pre-show type of talker. But now he's getting involved. And at NXT TakeOver 30, it's going to be Pat McAfee against Adam Cole. Adam Cole is a babyface in this. You always look at the celebrity as a babyface. When it was Mr. T, even go back to the very first WrestleMania, Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, against, they were always, the only exception I could probably say would probably be Floyd Mayweather when he faced the Big Show. And the only reason why that is because a lot of people don't like Mayweather because of all his money. You know what I mean? Even though Big Show was supposed to be the heel, I think Mayweather might have been a bigger heel than the Big Show. But throughout history, the celebrity, Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam, the celebrity has always been the babyface. Here, Pat McAfee, a legitimate athlete, he's a punter, for Hall of Fame worthy, maybe, punter for the NFL. He's been training, he bought a ring, he's been training with Rip Rogers, who's a fantastic trainer. I could really see him getting into this ring and into this business better than like a guy like Steve McMichael. Now, McMichael was a heel. He was originally a babyface when he was with Lawrence Taylor's All-Pro team at WrestleMania 11. But then when he, turned into a horseman, he became a full-time wrestler. So that's why it's okay that he was the heel. He was kind of the exception to the rule. Now McAfee, is he going to be in the business for good? Is this kind of his debut in NXT? How do you do that? How do you book it? Is Adam Cole going to, let's say, win this match and then the whole Undisputed Era going up to the main roster? I don't think that there's room for that right now. So, I don't know, we'll see. Although I like where it's going, and we all know now that the stuff that happened on Pat McAfee's show was a work instead of a shoot. But hey, you know what? Whatever. When you're able to say, "Ooh, I don't know if that's fixed or rigged," that might have been real. That's the sign. Triple H, Shawn Michaels come out to check on Adam Cole. So I really liked where that's going. And last but certainly not least, Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. I just watched that this morning. I thought it was a good show. I like where they're going with the Retribution angle. It's kind of spoofing off the idiots in Antifa and what they're doing in Seattle and Portland, and lawlessness and and rioting and looting and, you know, destruction and mayhem and, you know, damaging private property and defacing stuff. And you know, like on Raw, they came out and they threw Molotov cocktails at a transformer or a generator or whatever. You know, and this week they come out at the end of SmackDown to take over the full set, kind of like the Nexus did, although with weapons. But let's see where it goes from here, because, you know, rumor has it Vince still doesn't know who's going to be in Retribution. They just have, you know, a group of people in masks right now, of NXT people and 205 Live people. There's a couple of girls in there. You know, do you think this is kind of like the people that were, they can't even say the people that were let go in March or April, because the majority of them are elsewhere. You know, the only one that really came back was Drake Maverick, and I doubt he's in that right now. You know, so going from the past, could it be CM Punk? I've heard Darren Young. Mark Henry brought that up. You know, could it be AJ Lee? Could it be anybody, you know, that was fired, that you know, that had a grudge against the WWE? We know CM Punk is open to working with the WWE again, as we saw him backstage, even though he was a Fox employee. You know, when the money's, if the money's there, I mean, he may be the highest paid mask guy coming in, but that's the whole point of putting him in a mask. You know, one of the people sounded, at least voice-wise, like Xavier Woods. So, who knows who they are? We don't know. Big E cut a pretty good promo last night, or on SmackDown. He cut a pretty good promo, just saying how it's his turn now, and, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do see how Booker T has said that he's got to change his gimmick a little bit. You know, the pancakes, the unicorns, the fun flipping and flying and the cartoony stuff that Big E does isn't going to work, the gimmick. But we'll see. I don't, you know, if Big E does get a world title push, okay, I don't want to see him as New Day Big E. I don't want to see him as a joke champion like Kofi was. Kofi Kingston deserved the title, we get that, but his gimmick, his character, the fact that, you know, it changed a little bit, but it's still like he had pancakes behind the belt, you know, like throwing pancakes out. Really? Who does that as a world champion? Who does that? The Fiend came out to attack Alexa Bliss again. You know, Braun Strowman came on the Jumbotron and said, I don't care about Alexa Bliss. All I care about is burying you or whatever, taking you out. So we'll see how that goes. Pretty good storytelling. Pretty good storyline. I really like it. I like Braun Strowman. I like the Fiend. I like where this is going. I like incorporating Alexa Bliss into the storyline now, especially since her and Nikki are almost done, I think. I see Nikki Cross branching out on her own as a single. Let's see. We also had Baron Corbin taking on Jeff Hardy. But earlier in the night, Matt Riddle faced Sheamus. Chad Gable, Shorty G, came out to attack Riddle, as in to try to get the King's bounty that King Corbin put on Matt Riddle, thus causing Sheamus the match. Riddle won by disqualification. And I liked that storyline was kind of weaved throughout the night. Sheamus was pissed, obviously, and he attacked Chad Gable after that, because he said, "You cost me the match, fella. What are you doing?" After Gable got beat up by Matt Riddle, he got beat up by Sheamus. And then Sheamus kind of confronted Corbin about it, and Corbin said, "Well, if I didn't have to worry about Jeff Hardy tonight." So that's kind of like what happened. Corbin faced Jeff Hardy. I believe Matt Riddle came out to cause the disqualification for Hardy to win, but then Sheamus came out and had a match with Sheamus came out and had a match with Corbin. I kind of like Corbin's character. He's the king, which is kind of stupid, but you know what? He's gone with it. You know, the dog food crap with Roman Reigns back last year kind of sucked. Really sucked. But Or was that earlier this year? Is that how long this year's been so far? But I kind of dig it. I do. I'm waiting to see the tri-branded Battle Royal on SmackDown next week. Winner faces Bayley at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, what are they going to do with the tag titles? You know, having all the titles on two women just kind of is ridiculous, in my opinion. You know, because you could easily, instead of having the Raw Women's title on Sasha, you could have easily kept it on Asuka. And you could have easily said, oh, well, you know what? Bayley, you have to defend your SmackDown title against X, whoever it's going to be. You know, but you also have to worry about defending your tag titles with Sasha against this other team. You know, let's say the Iconics. And what happens if Bayley gets hurt? You know, let's say the SmackDown Women's title is first on the card and she gets hurt. So Sasha's got to defend the title by herself. So, you know, but now Sasha is the Raw Women's Championship, so now they're focusing on those titles, and the tag titles are back relegated to obscurity. Wow. So that's pretty much that is. So enjoy. I enjoyed it. I have to say, my pick for best show of the week would probably have to go to, out of all of them, this is a tough one because I would probably have to go with NXT. I gotta say NXT is probably my winner this week. Again, it had its flaws, but I really like the angle with Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. So let's see where that goes. In other news, next week I'll get back to some general hospital news now that GH is back in production and back showing new episodes. Today starts the second week of new episodes. So I'll get into some GH next week. But Sunday, this drops Monday, August 10th. Sunday, August 9th. Because of Tropical Storm Isaias, I've been so backed up with watching wrestling between power outages and work and everything. I have to say that last night I watched Impact, AEW, and NXT back to back to back. I will never subject myself to that again. It was just insane. Just too much wrestling. Too much. And you know what? I'm not even getting into Ring of Honor or MLW. So, or New Japan. So, just a lot. All right, so this is going to be a very long episode. Like I said, we're already at 43 minutes now, at least 45 minutes now. Again, rest in peace, Kamala. We're going to take you now to my interview with the Firefly Flow Troupe, Fire and LED performers. Have a great day and enjoy the interview. All right, I am here with Allie and Emily, the founders of the Firefly Flow Troupe Fire Performers. How are you ladies doing today?
We're great. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Actually, just had the power go out, so we didn't know if this interview was going to happen today, but everything worked out in our favor.
And we're glad that it did.
Yeah, Tropical Storm Isaias, I think the name is wreaking havoc in this area. But having weather cancel or postpone your shows isn't something that's new to you, huh?
No, not really. No, we actually recently had a gig that, with the LED hoops especially because they're pretty expensive, it was raining, so we're not going to take our props out in the rain and ruin them.
I don't blame you one bit. And I assume the water would put out the fire in your fire performances as well.
Yeah, wet wicks do not light well.
Yeah, I would assume so. All right, so you ladies do fire performances and LED performances. Where did the genesis of that idea come from?
Well, I would say first we were just friends who hula hooped together a lot. And then we were friends who spun fire and LED hula hoops together a lot. And started to have a couple of opportunities to perform. And then really it took off from there. It was about 2017. We started as a trio. And then in 2019, due to popular demand, we ended up having a 6-member troupe now.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So 2019, you pretty much double in size.
Yep.
So how do you decide who gets to go to what gig, or how does that go?
It depends a little bit on if there's anything specially requested. For example, we have one girl who breathes fire.
Oh,
so
wow.
If that's requested, I am not one of the people that can go and do that gig. So it depends on what's requested, and then we just really try to do it in a fair way. Okay. All the girls put a lot of work into it, so we try to give everyone equal opportunities to perform.
That's fantastic. All right, so what got you interested in the LED performing and the fire performing? Now, you did mention before the show that all 6 of you ladies had your own LED hula hoops beforehand.
Yep.
So what got you interested in that?
Well, so we've all been interested in flow arts for probably the last 7 to 10 years. Okay. Flow arts is prop manipulation combined with dance, combined with meditation. So that's hula hoops, poi, staff, fans, fire. Can you think of any other ones?
Levitation wand. Yeah, there's all sorts of different props that you can sort of dance with, and it's really just about art and expressing yourself in a different way. So we all kind of had a love for that before we found each other, and sort of developed a friendship, and then our business through that. That's
awesome. And it's funny. Well, I actually met you 2 ladies last weekend or a couple weekends ago at a birthday party that you performed at. And yep. I have to say, the performance was fantastic.
Oh, thanks so much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I was very impressed with the fire eating. I noticed you had to take a drink of water afterwards. I can't assume that tastes very well.
No, yeah, I just like to rinse my mouth out with water after. It's a good habit to be in. It's a little bit safer. You get any of the fuel that may have been left in your mouth out.
Yeah. So you guys do kids' birthday parties. What other kinds of gigs do you get requests for?
We do all sorts of different gigs. Anything from, music festivals or parades. We've done weddings, adult and kids' birthday parties. And we've actually done some community events, and we actually have a community event coming up this coming week as well.
Really? Okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we'll be actually performing. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
we'll be performing at the Plymouth Rehabilitation and Healthcare Center. Emily and one of the other girls in the troupe work there. And so it's been really sad and hard on the residents not being able to see family members. So we're going to hopefully cheer up some days for them.
That's awesome. I really applaud that.
Thank you.
I know with my grandmother personally being in a nursing home, it's tough on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially with the way the visitation is right now. You have to wear a mask. You have to be 6 feet apart.
Yeah, it's very sad.
And with the people, and a lot of the people in nursing homes are hard of hearing. So when you're wearing a mask, muffles the sound even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they can't read your lips either.
Right, exactly. How has the pandemic affected your business? Were there times where you had to postpone everything and kind of take some time off, or?
Yeah. So we actually had a really, really busy 2020 planned.
Yeah, it was going to be our busiest season yet. We were really taking off.
Yep. And then, of course, when COVID hit, all of the festivals and sort of
the bigger events obviously canceled.
Yeah, canceled or postponed, which who knows when at this point that's going to be postponed until. And then we did have a couple of private parties that we had booked ahead of time during COVID, but they were further out. So we sort of worked with the clients and said that we were going to see how COVID went and then touch base at a later date. We sort of stopped doing much of anything and really didn't get together for a couple of months there. We did a lot of actually online stuff. We did a couple of challenges and tutorials and had the girls sort of get involved with online things as opposed to getting together in person.
That's really interesting. How, I mean, I guess it's just pretty much setting up your webcam and or your phone and doing your routine online. But I mean, how big of an area do you need? Is it something that you could do indoors, or do you have to be out? I mean, obviously the fire has to be outdoors.
We stopped with fire spinning because you do need a safety. So unless you were quarantining with someone, you really can't safely spin fire by yourself. You always need to have a safety present.
Emily was holding the blanket.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So that makes sense, which is what I figured, but now to hear it directly from you, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. We just we didn't so much do routines. We like to get people involved in sort of creative aspects. So we did what was called the Don't Rush Challenge. You can find it on our Instagram, which is Firefly_flow_Troupe. And that's pretty fun. It was like a challenge that originally was a makeup challenge. It was Pass the Brush. It got adopted by Flow Arts. So that was pretty fun. So we just tried to keep people involved and still having a good time with Flow Arts, but in a socially distanced and safe way.
That's awesome. I wish I had known earlier. Now I'm not me personally. I'm not on Instagram or Facebook. I'm more on Twitter. Do you guys? I mean, obviously, you just mentioned you had the Instagram. How big of a following have you grown from your use of social media?
We have probably about 11 to 12,000 followers.
12,000?
I mean 1,200. I'm sorry, 1,200. Yeah, we don't have that as much of a following as
yeah, we're a pretty new troupe.
Yeah, we're very new.
Honest.
Yeah, we have more followers on our personal accounts than the troupe account. But we're working pretty diligently to build up more of a following and put out more regular content. It has been hard through COVID, like Allie said, but you know, as things are sort of lightening up and we're getting more gigs and doing more community events, we're having more videos and more pictures to share with our followers and fans and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Well, that's fantastic. And one of my goals to bring you on the podcast is to get your business out there, your troupe out there, get it promoted.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people. It's something different, you know, because especially a kid's birthday party, you could have clowns, you could have magicians, but a fire performance or an LED performance, that's something thinking out of the box.
Yeah. We actually do all sorts of different things too. You know, you saw the fire dancing, you saw the eating, you didn't see the breathing. We actually do different acts as well. We have fire swords that we use in some performances as well. And then we also do choreographed LED dances with hula hoops. And then we also have LED ISIS wings, which are super cool and super fun to play with. And we're hoping to get other LED props soon as well. Okay. The other things we've done too, which have been really, really fun, have been like, we did the parade for the province town for Carnival Week. And our float actually won, so that was really fun. It was Game of Thrones themed. Emily was Khaleesi. I was a dragon. That was originally they wanted us. Fun. Yeah, it was really, really fun. Yeah, so it's great.
That's awesome. So you guys are centered out of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
How far is your reach in terms of where you're able to go for gigs on a reasonable day?
We mostly stay in Massachusetts, but we do get requests in neighboring states as well.
Okay.
It's been a little different with COVID, you know, but
I'd say typically we travel at most up to about 2 hours to a gig.
Okay. Well, that's great. So going forward into the future, do you plan, I know Allie, you said that you're looking to buy more props and stuff. What
Oh,
other
yeah.
what other kind of props are there? I mean, this is the first experience of, any kind of fire performing. So what other kinds of props are there? Because I was impressed with some of them that you already had.
Well, there's fire poi, there's fire swords, like we mentioned. There are hollow eating torches, which are a little bit different than the eating torches that we have. They're kind of one step up.
Okay.
There are fire crowns, so sort of like a big queen's crown, but with flames coming off of it.
There are fire belts
belts and big wings, big fire wings. Yep. I mean, you dream it, they can make it.
Yeah.
So do you have a company that you specifically go through to buy the props, or is it whatever you can find?
It really depends on the prop. Some
Yeah.
props are like the swords. Those are sort of a specialty prop, which we ordered from a company based out of Russia. But mostly, we try to shop within the United States. We try to support small businesses.
Yeah.
We do have one particular company that we like to buy our hula hoop wicks from, but we sort of just look into
the quality and
the reviews from our peers and see what is the best deal.
And I guess we do typically tend to buy Mood Hoops, in all honesty, because they have really good customer service.
Mood Hoops and Synergy Flow Arts are two of our main companies that we use.
And that's more for the hula hoops, though. The fire props really differ per prop.
Yeah, it really depends.
And we try to kind of buy the highest quality ones as well.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. So what are some of the oddest gigs you had to do that you got requested for?
The music video.
Oh, totally.
So we were requested for music video, and the music video is actually being released tonight, so we haven't even seen it yet.
One of them is being released tonight.
We
haven't seen any of them
and
yet.
this was months ago. This was
before COVID.
Pre-COVID, so it's been a long time. But we showed up with the thought that we would be hula hooping sort of in the background.
So they requested several themed outfits for different music videos, to which we assumed we would be hula hooping in the music videos. Mm-hmm. We used the hula hoops for about 35 seconds.
And then we ended up doing all sorts of things, including playing in their band.
Playing their instruments.
I was the drummer.
I was a guitarist.
We sang a very interesting song.
Yep. We did. We sang in their music video.
We had to sing in the music video, yeah.
We put on cat masks.
We put on cat masks and ran around as cat.
We did that, yeah.
And that's just to name a few things, I mean. So that was probably our oddest gig request we've ever had. But it was very fun, and we enjoyed it
very, very
so much. We always have a good time.
And we got to keep the cat masks, so that was the best part.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's awesome. Wow. So you've done quite a bit then.
Yeah.
That's great. So how did you said that you guys doubled, you guys have 6 performers now in your troupe.
Mm-hmm.
Were you all friends beforehand, or were you kind of just coming together out of mutual interest, or how did that happen?
So like we said, Allie and I have been friends for a long time. And so we kind of just sort of picked up new friends along the way, to be honest.
Yeah, it was through the regional burn gig that we ended up picking up such a good core group for the troupe.
Yeah, we had a gig last summer for a regional burn local on the South Shore of Massachusetts.
So they built this huge structure, and then we did this. We were the fire troupe.
Yeah, we did like a ceremonial choreographed fire performance with all 6 of us. So we need, the point of it is
7 of us at that point.
7 of us. Yeah. We needed more girls, so we kind of, looked into our community and who we had for friends that we knew did it, and
had mutual interest in being creative and performing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we kind of pulled the troupe together for that, and After that, the group really just kind of took off and started getting busier. So it just sort of formulated from that.
Yeah, it just made sense to keep the other girls on for the remainder of the troupe.
That's great. How about now? You did mention, needing to have somebody there as a safety, holding some kind of a blanket in case a mishap goes on.
Yes.
To happen. Have you ever had to use it? Like, anything that happened like that.
So you use it anyway, typically to extinguish props. Like if someone's new to a prop or they get a little bit tired or they just want to put the prop out, you can easily extinguish the prop with the fire safety blanket. So we've never had any huge catastrophe.
No.
But you always have someone there just because,
just to be safe.
Just to be safe.
Better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've never had any huge mishaps or anything.
We've never had to use our insurance either, so that's great.
Knock on wood.
I can imagine insurance must be outrageous for something like that.
It's not too bad.
Okay.
It's not too bad, and we like to look at it that as long as we're, fulfilling gigs, that sort of pays for itself in the end.
Yeah,
so.
Of course. Absolutely. So what do your family and friends think? Like the people that are, that you're close to in your life, how have they been supportive of this, or have they kind of been like, oh my God, you're going to set yourself on fire one day?
A little bit of both, I would say. I think at first, a lot of, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
You're crazy.
Absolutely.
I don't support this.
I got a call at 8:30 in the morning once from my grandmother who goes, Alexandra, I just saw you eating fire on the internet. What's this about? And I got a lecture for about 25 minutes about it. Then she ends going, just don't tell me about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know.
I think then after we started to get some, a little bit bigger of gigs, and they started seeing that we're being paid, and we're professional. We're trained. We're insured. More support started coming.
And once they've seen it a couple times in real life, then it changes from, oh my God, to, wow, that's really cool. You're really good at that.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Was this something that you had set out to do, or was it something you've kind of fell into? I know you guys said friends.
Low arts was something I think we all set out to do.
Okay.
And then I fell in love with fire, and then sort of taught my friends to spin fire as well. And we sort of just took off from there and looked at each other at one point and was like, we're really good. We should probably perform, we like doing this. We like costumes. Why not?
Yeah, it started very slowly. We would do one sort of thing for a friend's party, and then we finally got our first gig, and then we got our next one, and it's just, continually been building up, and we've done some local outreach, and we're starting to do more of that as well. So things are looking good, and I feel like we're on an awesome path.
So what was your first gig?
Snowflakes.
Snowflakes
was our first gig. We got hired for an adult birthday party.
Okay.
In the middle, I think the end of December.
Okay.
In the snow.
Oh wow.
So we were snowflakes,
we drove in the snow to get there, and it was half snowing, half raining, but it held off just long enough
for us to perform. And then the ride back was like the scariest drive we've ever had.
We were just so excited.
Yeah, we were like on cloud 9.
Yeah, we were just happy to have been paid for our first real gig, and things have just gone up from there. But the excitement has never died. We still are just as excited for each and every gig as the first one.
Oh, that's great. And you could tell just by your upbeat and your upbeat personalities. I find that fantastic. That's one of the biggest things. You can go to a concert, you can go to a sports event, but if you see the performers, the athletes not really having that smile on their face, trying, kind of telephoning it in, you can tell, and that kind of ruins the experience. But I could tell by you ladies, you still enjoy it, and you still get that excitement, that adrenaline flows, and
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, that's great. So was it just you two for your first gig?
No, actually.
We had a couple other people with us.
We had 4 people.
4 people were
gig.
with us. Yeah. We had some other friends, peers with us.
Here, hold on. I'm going to take this. Sorry, 1 second.
No problem. So I noticed that you were the, Emily, I noticed that you were the one taking the video at the birthday party that I saw you at. Were you a performer too, or do you guys switch off? Or are you kind of like the coordinator, putting it all together?
Yeah, so Allie and I, we both do a bulk of the performing. We're both, trained in the fire dancing, the LED, but we both also co-direct the troupe. We sort of run different aspects of things. Allie deals more with the clients, and I deal a lot with the social media aspect of things, and sort of getting, projects together and stuff. But we basically work together on everything. So, for example, I came as the manager for the birthday party that we performed at a couple weeks ago that you were at. Mm-hmm. And then this past weekend, I performed and Allie came as the manager to that gig. So we kind of flip-flop. And like we said, we try to make it fair opportunities for everyone. So we really we spread the love and share it out. We like to do both things. So
who was the other performer at the party that I was at?
Shayna was the other performer. She's new to the troupe this past year when we did the regional burn.
Okay. That's cool. So what do you guys have coming down the pipeline in terms of, we know that you're going to be in the, helping out the assisted living center this weekend.
Yeah.
But going forward, what other kinds of gigs do you have? I'm assuming that, like, do you guys perform like fairs and stuff? And
yeah, we do fairs and festivals. We had a wedding as well booked for this summer, but all of those things got postponed. Right. So we don't have really much on our plate coming up, but we are doing a lot of outreach. Hopefully going to be working with an entertainment company soon. Like a rental entertainment company soon. Just another opportunity for us to get our name out there. And, a lot of people don't know about what we do. They don't know about our performances, and they never really know about it until they see it. So
exactly.
We're, currently in the process of making some brochures. We got the new business cards that we handed out to you a couple weeks ago. Yep. And we're just doing some different community outreach things to get our name out there a little bit more. It's been tough through COVID. Typically we use the Gigsalad website. Yep. But through these times, it's just been difficult because not many people are having parties as they used to be. So, right. Yeah, just trying to find new avenues for gigs and new opportunities.
That's awesome. I surely hope that, this pandemic kind of goes away fairly quickly. Now, you mentioned, so your first gig was actually in December.
It was. So
how, do you guys perform year-round, or was that like a once-in-a-lifetime type of deal?
Nope, we do. We perform year-round. We have a couple of great seamstresses in our troupe as well. So you can spin fire in any fire-safe fabric. So leather, wool is really good for the winter, cotton, bamboo, hemp, any of those things. Okay. So we like to kind of just get fabric and then make costumes as we need them. It's kind of another fun creative outlet that comes along with performing, which is cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. I could, and just like any performance, I assume that a lot of work goes into something. It's not just, oh, let's get a song, let's get an outfit and go. I assume that, the choreo, it's got to be tailor-made to every audience.
Yep. Yeah. So when we get a gig, we start typically working on it almost immediately.
So how does like a kid's birthday differ from an adult's birthday party?
So it really depends on what they want. Okay. So we did, as you saw, maybe we probably wouldn't do Moana as an adult birthday theme. Yeah. We might do a little bit of a different soundtrack to it.
We might do some, I wouldn't want to say scarier props, but we might do some swords with some, we have some, the stuff called splitter, which creates a sparkler effect when you smack two of the props together. So, for example, we do Allie and I actually do a sword fight act together, which might be a little bit spookier, just a little bit
like we won't be doing that for the nursing home or for children.
Yeah. So we just kind of like maybe step it up a notch, do some crazier tricks that might not appeal to the children so much.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's I would have loved to see that sword fight. that must be awesome to watch in person.
It's a good one. It's actually I think you have one of the videos of it a little bit, a couple of clips of it.
All right, yeah.
The 4th of July, yeah.
There and everything. So what are some of the things you're looking to expand into? You got the fire, you got the LED. Are you looking to go into something else, or is that kind of what your forte is and you want to stick to what your specialist at?
We also do daytime hooping and silk fans and character work. I mean, we had a great time being the Game of Thrones.
Right.
We've also developed like sprites characters. We're hoping to expand into stilt walking a little bit as well.
Okay.
A little more circusy stuff in regards to that. Long term, maybe aerial stuff as well, but that's a long way off.
I assume that's got to have a specialized place.
Yeah.
Aerial stunts, absolutely. Have you guys ever done like a Renaissance fair or something like that? Or is that something that you would possibly look into in the future? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. We're back.
So the question was, have we ever done a Renaissance fair?
Yeah, or is that something you're interested in doing at one point?
It's funny that you say that. We sort of got together when we first started to want to perform, and we didn't really know where to start. So we thought that we would audition for King Richard's Fair, actually. So we emailed a bunch of Renaissance fairs, and King Richard's Fair gave us an audition. Unfortunately, it didn't exactly work out. They wanted to do a trial run, and they wanted us to be there every single weekend. And at that time, a lot of the troupe members were working as waitresses, so they really couldn't compensate us the way we were getting compensated working in the city as waitresses on the weekends.
Makes sense.
Sometimes you have to pay the bills, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was when we were first starting out. And since then, to be honest, we've been so busy with other things that we haven't really had the opportunity to reach out to them again or reach out to any other ones. But that's definitely something we'd be interested in doing.
Yeah.
Definitely up our alley. Hopefully get into that or get into one soon in the future.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would be great. Do you have, I mean, I know you do public gigs and stuff that's open for the public. When you do, I would definitely like to come check another one out.
Absolutely.
A little bit more diverse than just the fire that you did, because I would love to see, some of the LED as well. Besides
definitely.
I have. So besides the the assisted living center that you have coming up, do you have any other public gigs coming down the pike, or is the majority of the bigger stuff been kind of canceled?
It's really been canceled. Everything's TBA, and most of the stuff we've been doing right now has been private.
Okay.
Definitely actually all of the gigs of 2020 have been private.
That's kind of where the money is right now.
At
least with the COVID era that we're in.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we do try to film a majority of our performances, if not the whole performance.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we like to bring a tripod and set it up and record the whole thing. So usually we do make a highlight reel video of each performance, kind of highlighting each of our favorite parts, all, made together.
Yep. Okay, folks, I am back with the ladies of the Firefly Flow Troupe. We did get cut off during our original interview, which we talked about how they had gotten their gigs canceled because of weather before. that actually, happened here. Her tropical storm Isaias, or however they want to pronounce it, came through and knocked out the power here in New Britain, Connecticut. So I lost all power, but the interview was saved, as you just saw. So we're just here to kind of conclude the interview and finish up. We didn't want to leave anything untied. But how was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I was on Cape, so that was kind of nice, visiting some family.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And Emily, how about you?
My weekend was good too. Yeah, I just relaxed and hung out on the lake and soaked up some sun. It was a good time. What about you?
I worked. I work at a hotel, and due to all of the electric going out in Connecticut, we were swamped with people from Eversource Energy coming in from all over the region to descend on Connecticut to restore power. And as of now, there are still over 100,000 people without power in Connecticut.
Oh my gosh.
That's horrible.
That is terrible.
It really is. But we wanted to at least come back and just kind of go over some just closing stuff about your social media and how people can get in contact with you. And so what social media are you on? I know you had mentioned that most of it is your personal pages. You really haven't gotten that group following yet. But what kind of social media do you have?
So we have an Instagram account and a Facebook account. So you can find our accounts by searching Firefly Flow Troupe on both of those social medias. And then we're also, you can contact us through email, which is
fireflyflowtroupe@gmail.com.
Okay. And
so
I'll
our
definitely
Facebook
provide.
and our Instagram have a lot of, videos and pictures, and it's ways for our fans to stay up to date with what we're doing and, what new things we have coming up. And then our email is sort of for people who want to reach out and find out more information about what types of performances we do or bookings.
Pricing questions. All sorts of,
Yeah.
And we additionally have a Gigsalad as well, where you can find some of our past performances.
That's Gigsalad?
Yep.
Okay. I'll definitely have to. I've never heard of that before, so I'll definitely have to look that up.
It's a booking website for performers. So, like, if you were looking to hire a musician or a face painter for a kid's birthday party, a fire performer,
Really?
that's where you would go. Yep.
Okay.
We met, I believe,
Was
we were booked
through
through
Gigsalad.
Gigsalad.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I did have a couple more at least one more question. The LED performances that you do those have to be specifically done at night so you can see the lights? Because I know the fire you could do during the day, obviously, but the LEDs.
It's really a nighttime thing. Yeah.
Yeah. The lights don't really come out in the daytime. So the darker it is, the better.
What would you say would be more popular right now for you, the LED or the fire?
Fire's always been more popular.
Yeah.
It's a crowd pleaser for sure.
Okay. Well,
but LEDs we typically offer as a great alternative if there's some sort of problem where you couldn't have a spin fire. There are, laws through the town, and if you're doing it on public versus private property and stuff like that. So it's a good way to sort of give a fun light up event and add some flair without adding. It's also a little bit cheaper in price, to be honest, because because fire spinning you need a safety. We use fuel to do it. The props need maintenance. There's a lot more that goes into a fire performance
that makes sense.
With LED.
Okay. Have you been contracted for any high profile or celebrity events yet?
Not yet.
No.
We are we're again very new, and we're very happy and comfortable right now as sort of a fun backyard event entertainment. And we haven't really moved to the level of corporate just yet.
We have been booked for weddings and things like that. But not many high profile or celebrity events.
Yeah, I would say probably the most high profile was Carnival Week in Provincetown.
Yeah, we did the Carnival Day for Provincetown. So that was very
That was
cool.
a lot of people.
A lot of people. That was probably the biggest, crowd that we've ever performed in front of. So
I think like 100,000 people flocked to Provincetown for that weekend.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That would really build up your following a bit.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I wanted to thank you ladies for coming on. I truly enjoyed the performance that I saw, and getting just to talk to you. You guys are definitely happy and upbeat, and I would thoroughly recommend anybody hiring you in this area.
Thank you
So-
so much. And thank you
You're
so much
welcome.
for having us on.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I have shared your business card on Twitter. I will definitely, and you guys can share it on your Facebook and social media platforms.
I think we already have.
Yep.
Yep.
Very good, very good. And I do have some friends of mine that I could have share as well. So we're going to get your name out there. We're going to get your business out there and try to help get you ladies to the next level.
Thank you so much.
It's been
You're
a
very
pleasure.
welcome. Well, again, I'm speaking with Allie and Emily from the Firefly Flow Troupe, Fire and LED performers, based out of Massachusetts. But I want to thank you ladies for coming on, and we'll check in every so often and sporadically, and have you guys back on. Absolutely.
That sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our two-part interview with the Firefly Flow Troupe, Fire and LED performers. It's been a long episode today. I know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as you saw, we did get cut off because of Tropical Storm Isaias. But I want to thank you all for watching and listening. And next week we'll be back. No interview as far as I know right now. But again, thank you. My name is Vinny Apicella. You can follow me on Twitter at VApicellaSWE. Follow me on follow SportsWire on Twitter at SportsWire Audio. And then you can go ahead and subscribe here, youtube.com/SportsWireSWE. And then follow on anchor.fm/SportsWireAudio. Go to sportswireaudio.com. Email me, sportswireaudio@gmail.com, with any questions or whatever you want. Maybe requests for interviews that I could try to get. But thank you all. Have a great day.